Lots of fun today. We welcome back to the show my dear friend Joe Concha, Fox News contributor, and Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor, host of the Big Ben Show. You two are great. We're just going to have a little fun, spend some time on this. Go ahead, Ben Domenech. You tell me. Talk to me about California, my friend.
Well, it turns out, Larry, that you can actually get fed up at a certain point, and I think that was what the voters were saying when it came to the polling this time around. You have an elite class of California Democrats who have run that beautiful state into the ground over the course of years, decades even, and the ramifications of it have been that people can just see the absolute crazy policy on their streets when they drive, when they walk around, and they can see it in such a way that it really inspires, I think, a lot of independent-minded voters to just say, look, if Karen Bass was, a lockstep Democrat and still had all these, other, sort of corrupt aspects to her, but she kept things clean, she kept the streets repaired, she kept homeless encampments away from schools, they probably would still be voting for her. Instead, you see an incumbent who is falling behind, someone who is a total outsider in Spencer Pratt because his message is connecting with voters. And I think this is going to be one of the most fascinating things to see play out. They have won an argument already at this stage in the campaign. We'll have to see whether they're able to actually win enough people that say, we're done with this crap.
Ben, I love that fed up. The fed up, I'm going to put that back in the riff when we publish it, because it's a fed up kind of thing. It's a mom thing, Joe Concha, because moms just don't, in their gut, don't want their kids and families to have to come into contact with the drugs and the homelessness and, of course, the fires and so forth. It'll be an analytic thing, too. There'll be policy, gut check policy, because the place is going bankrupt, and they're stealing everybody blind, and there's so much corruption. But, Joe, I think Ben adds a dimension to it, this fed-up dimension. L.A. used to be a really terrific place. By the way, California as a state used to be a really terrific place, and these lefties have run it into the ground, Joe Concha. Now, what's your take? What's the hook here? What do you think the angles are, Joe?
The angles are, A, you have an incumbent, to Ben's point. Karen Bass is currently at 25% approval in that city. So most people do not like her. B, she is like Kamala Harris 2.0, where outside of a teleprompter, she is a human Chernobyl. So she's not a very good communicator, not very likable. Then it comes down to two things: homes and homelessness. In other words, rebuilding those 17,000 homes in the Palisades and the Malibu, where almost none have been rebuilt. Here we are nearly 18 months later, so incompetence by the mayor, no sense of urgency, and then the other homes, which is homelessness, where there are tent encampments in Los Angeles that should have their own zip code at this point. And Spencer Pratt is running a local campaign. He's not going to national issues, nothing. He's saying, I'm going to rebuild your homes. I'm going to get rid of the homeless. We're going to take care of the drug problem, where there can be now more kids than needles in the parks, and the fraud and corruption. All your tax money is going to places you should not, and it is resonating big time. A Republican can win in Los Angeles. Wow. If you told me that a year ago, I'd say you're crazy, Larry.
Well, it's interesting, too, Joe, one other point, and I'm speculating, I don't know this, but I'm going to bet, for all the reasons that you fellas just mentioned, good reasons, I think Pratt's going to raise a lot of money from donors because they want to fix L.A. They do not want it to drop into this, sinkhole with no bottom to it whatsoever. They do not want a corrupt socialist running the state. And again, I come back to this moms and families thing, but let's add on to it businesses, for heaven's sake. I think he's going to be able to mount a very strong campaign. The reason I say that, Joe, is I don't think Karen Bass is capable of mounting a strong campaign because she lacks the, shall we say, intelligence quotient to put it together, and she lacks the credibility, Joe. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't think she's going to do well at all because she can't do well. She's just the wrong person.
Larry, she lost that credibility you just spoke about when she decided to go to a wedding in Ghana, Africa, when she was warned that the winds were coming, that those wildfires were coming, and she left the country anyway knowing that. So, yeah, Spencer Pratt's already raising a ton of money. Now wait until the general, where it's a binary choice, and he has 5 months. And guess what? He's going to try to debate Karen Bass. He says, every Friday, let's debate. If she debates him once, I would be shocked because she got blown out in that last debate. She wants no part of a one-on-one with Spencer Pratt.
But if she doesn't debate it, Ben, she's going to look just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, I think that look, Joe's completely right about this. But one of the things that we should appreciate about this, you're speaking to sort of business climate side of things. That's a huge part of this. People are the amount of business that has come out of Los Angeles, that has come out of California. They don't make movies anymore there, Larry. I mean, that's just absurd. You know, it used to be, you know, this center for, I mean, go west, young man, but it's not that anymore. And so you actually have people who are promising, we want to restore that. And I think it's very practical concerns. It's not about national ideology or anything else. And then you see in the governor's race, I just have to say, look, can we pour one out for Tom Steyer at this point? He talks about how billionaires can just buy politics, you know, every which way. How many millions and millions of dollars has he spent trying to get people desperately to like him and failed utterly, just over and over and over again? I don't know. I find it, frankly, amusing for all the people who rant about how you can buy politics in this day and age. That's just not true anymore. You actually have to connect with voters. You have to speak to their needs. And I think that's true about what's happening in California.